Now before we start, I just want to take a moment to thank all of you who have been watching my videos and liking and sharing, because this week you've helped me hit 100 subscribers. So thank you very much for watching. Let's roll the tape.
Nobody uses tape anymore, John. It's all streaming and download.
You're a download! This week sees the release of Battlefield 1. I previously mentioned in another video that I don't really do video game reviews because of money restraints, but thankfully all the people who are going to testify were mysteriously unavailable, and that freed up my judge bribing funds. So I've been playing it on Xbox One through EA Access for the last week, so here's just a few early impressions of what to expect from the trench warfare of Battlefield 1. Now the Battlefield games have always been visually stunning, and this newest entry is no exception. From draw distance to weapon detail, the game looks top class, although I did notice the occasional dip in frame rate during the busier multiplayer maps, and some straight up freezing when I was recording game clips with Xbox DVR, so I would avoid using it during matches until the eventual fix, which may even be addressed in a day one patch, so if you're playing now, let me know what the performance is like. Some people have also noticed an improvement when running it on the Xbox One S, so if you're thinking of upgrading your console, then this could be the game that tips the balance for you. Now I'm going to be straight up honest with you. I suck at Battlefield. I really suck at Battlefield. I'm just crap at it. So the multiplayer, it's not my strongest game. However, I did get stuck into the campaign and it truly delivers. Having the game set in World War I, it really hammers home the abject hopelessness of a conflict that saw millions of people die for little more than a few square metres of land at a time. The introduction is nothing short of harrowing, as you're dropped into the ill-fitting boots of a frontline soldier and told right from the get-go that you are not expected to survive. When you eventually and inevitably get gunned down, the screen goes black with a simple epitaph for your brave soul before immediately dropping you behind the sights of another soldier in no man's land. You fight as best you can and you die. Another epitaph appears, putting you into another new soldier and another and another. Battlefield 1 does an incredible job of cementing the fact that World War I was a senseless slaughter. Men as young as 15 were sent to the front lines by the thousands in a conflict that lasted 4 years. Now that intro was a real gut punch. The campaign itself is divided into separate war stories that focus on different tales across the globe. The first of these sees you as a young British tank driver in a small team facing impossible odds. There's a good mix of ground and vehicle combat with a healthy dose of stealth gameplay, which at one point has you sneaking around an occupied French village trying to salvage spare parts from enemy forces in order to get your crew up and running again after a lengthy engagement has rendered your tank inoperable. Controls for both ground and vehicles feels responsive and intuitive, although I did have a little bit of trouble on horseback. Most likely that's down to a lack of practice on my part, but I did have difficulty maintaining momentum. Right, let's talk multiplayer. Now, as previously mentioned, I'm rubbish at it, but despite being the lowest ranked player 3 games in a row, that didn't stop me having an absolute blast with a choice of different loadouts like the assault class or medic, and vehicles ranging from biplanes to armoured trucks to the aforementioned wonky donkey, and that keeps the gameplay varied and exciting. The addition of either side having their own super weapon which spawns in at certain points elevates the scale of the battle monumentally, and being behind the enormous cannons of the destroyer class battleship feels almost as epic as bringing down that gargantuan Zeppelin, complete with a landscape decimating fireball half a mile long. Now the multiplayer is where I noticed the most performance issues, with the occasional texture pop and dip in frame rate, but with so much going on coupled with some outstanding particle effects, smoke, gas and explosions, I never really felt it took me out of the immersion, and the moment to moment gameplay keeps you moving at breakneck speed through the ever changing landscape. The maps are also really well designed and range all over the world, from deserts to beachheads to entire towns, full of destructible buildings and alleys that are perfect for ambush setups. The destructible scenery does a great job of having a real physical presence too, and it never feels weak or floaty, and driving a tank through some poor sod's house makes a very agreeable mess of the place. So would I recommend Battlefield 1? Yes, wholeheartedly. What I played of the campaign presents a solid challenge delivered with Hollywood levels of storytelling and world building, and the multiplayer is varied with big maps and a hell of a lot of fun, although by all accounts does have a very different feel to previous entries in the series. Strangely, it actually feels more like Star Wars Battlefront, which some people may find a bit jarring. But let me know what you think of Battlefield 1. Did you purchase the game on day one? Have you been playing through EA Access and getting that 10-hour trial out of the way? Let me know what you think of the feel. Give us a comment, give us a like and a subscribe, because it helps me out greatly. So fix bayonets and game on.